Hey, everybody, we're live, and I want to thank you all for requesting an answer to this question in a number of different ways over the past few months regarding the rate of visitation to Las Vegas, the amount of money that an Oakland Athletics Las Vegas ballpark is expected to make, and why Las Vegas is a destination if the San Francisco Bay Area is the largest media market. Those are the primary questions that have been tossed to me again and again and again and again and again and again and again. And so uh, I made this to address them. And I think it's best to start with, first of all, before I get on that, I'm going to present to you some media entries that came up today. And ironically, just about 10 days after I said, "Hey, Dave Cobble, face the music," I really meant, "Hey, come on my show," because I did make, if you might recall, I did make a video to that effect. I said, "Hey, face the music," and he did face the music, but he didn't face it from me. Although I wasn't going to give him that kind of music because for a whole set of different reasons. But what I'm referring to is this live stream video that I put out approximately now here. Get the live. There's live, and I'll switch over. Uh, eight 8 days ago, face the music, Dave, and I just found it, and I'm going to put it up here for reference. Stop the screen there. Share this screen, and here it is. Okay. Let me get the commercial out of the way. Uh, if I can play that. 3, 2, 1. Skip the ads, and then, yeah. And this is what I was saying with respect to, I don't know why it's not. It's interesting. It's not. Should be able to hear that. That's interesting. I cannot hear. Wait. Interesting. I can't hear that. Hold on a second. I don't know if anybody can or cannot hear that. Let me try something here. It's a bit interesting. One moment, please. It's been that kind of night. Hold on a second. Can anyone hear? Hey, good evening. Can you hear me? Can you hear the video there? I'm actually going to YouTube to see if here. Hey, good evening. Can you hear me? Can you hear the video? Okay, you can hear there? That. I'm actually going to YouTube to see if here. Hey, good evening. Okay, I think I know what's going on here. All right, wait a minute. Let's try this again. Let me refresh this whole deal. I got to refresh this. Hold on. Okay, let's try that now. Still. That's interesting. I still can't hear it. Can anybody hear that? I can't. All right, I'm going to have to do real quick. 1 second. I'm talking. Let me try this. Can you hear me? Can you hear that? I'm actually going to YouTube to see if okay, I think I know what's going on here. All right, wait a minute. Let's try this again. Let me refresh this whole deal. I got to refresh this. Hold on. Yeah, for some particular reason, the video is not playing. Something weird is going on there. All right. Okay, can anybody hear that? I don't see any feedback. Still must be frozen. Let me try something, folks. I'm going to come in and go back. I'm going to start this whole thing all over again. That's interesting. I still can't hear it. I'm going to try a restart. Hold on. Can anybody hear that? I can't. Yeah, I'm going to restart this. Hold on. All right, I'm going to have to do real quick. 1 second. All right, we're back and do this. Okay, so I'm back. I had this face the music, Dave, and what I played here was this. From this point, seemingly a long trip from here to there, but really it isn't. It's already 2024. They're projecting 2028. There's no reason to think but that they'll make that because there are a number of hurdles that they had to go through in the Bay Area that add roughly a year and a half to 2 years onto the stadium development process. That is not the case in Nevada, specifically and then I said this. For a project and make it stick, because once you believe you have the finances down at a certain rate, once you believe you have the acreage down at a certain level, all of a sudden they jump up. Right. And then I said this. And then I'll put them here. He says, sell the team would be replaced by face the music. Yes. Well, let me take that on. Public relations and government affairs advice. You have political people. And then it said, maybe the A's, this is Hoper's, maybe the A's are running scared because they don't have the specifics in place. All right. That happened last week. All right. Then this week, what we had just yesterday and leading today to today, a barrage of traditional media. So the A's decided that they would face the music. They took my advice, it seems, and they went out and gave traditional media, for the most part, their shot. He didn't come on here, and I actually wrote the Athletics about that. But let's see the president. Let's see these headlines. A's president Dave Kaval spouts same talking points for new audience. A's president Dave Kaval spoke with the Nevada media, traditional, spitting, awful term, his same talking points and bold claims. Well, let's take a look at that real quick. All right. And Takes a little bit for this to open. So by Jason Burke, 19 hours ago. And Mr. Berg writes that Cavo told Bill Shakin, or Shalkin, I don't know who this is. I guess it's probably with SI because I like to keep the page views within their site, right? That the A's would be in the top 10 payroll once a ballpark was built in Oakland. Yeah. He even said that the likelihood that was happening was 100%. That's as high as percentages go. All right. On Tuesday, here's what he told the Nevada Independent. You wouldn't invest in a stadium like that and also not invest in the quality of the product, Cobble said. So that's something we really want to reiterate, and I think will be an important aspect as we launch the team to Vegas. Then he goes on to quote John Ralston, who completely has no idea from a mathematics standpoint how this works, because I pointed out to him on Twitter what he wrote. But he says the founder of the Nevada Independent used a couple of quotes from the article on his site on social media, including one part of the one above, and asked the question, how will A's fans take it? All right. And then he goes on here, okay? And he makes some ridiculous statements about that basically are that add up to this ridiculous take. And it is absolutely ridiculous. The idea is, well, the Athletics shouldn't spend all of this money in Las Vegas because they said they're going to spend it in Oakland if Howard Terminal were built. I mean, that's the only way to take that statement. And on its face, it's absolutely stupid. There's no other way to describe that. And I'm saying that because there have been a litany of ridiculous statements attached to this project. And the Athletics, for reasons best known to the Athletics, public relations, have allowed this circus to go on without challenge. In other words, without coming on to my show and saying what Dave used to say. Hey, Zen, you're absolutely right, blah, 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 okay? So why that is, I think is a great question. Because the Athletics are hurting themselves in unleashing a dynamic that is in effect a monster just waiting to take anything that is said and twist it against them. And that's precisely what that is. So, but they did it. And so let's go back and look at some of the other lunacy that's attached to this in terms of this reporting. And so that was here. But again, think about this for a moment. There's only two ways you can go with this, all right? If you spend the money, oh, you could have spent it in Oakland. Well, okay, yeah, but the problem is that the city of Oakland didn't give them a chance to even have that dream to come true because the city of Oakland was slow rolling the project. And there are people to this day who privately chortle that they killed the project. There are people in Oakland in this day who privately, also publicly, chortle that they killed the project. For example, I can't even get my friend Mike Jacob to come on this program and talk about the Schnitzer steel fire. But the last time that he was on it, he said, I asked him, I said, how do you feel about taking some responsibility for the departure of the Athletics? And he essentially said he had no problem with that. He knew that was going to happen. There are a number of people who are identified as opponents to the Howard Terminal project who are key Oakland politicos. All right. But yet they're not the same people who have risen up to say, hey, public money shouldn't be involved in ballparks in the Las Vegas parlance. You see the difference? The Athletics fans who are gung-ho about Howard Terminal had no problem with what would have been 4 times the amount of public money going into Howard Terminal as Las Vegas. None whatsoever. None whatsoever. And they ignored all logical observations and continued with this idea. And even tonight, Michael Colbruno, who is a government relations consultant and a friend, had a town hall. I don't know how many people attended on ways to fight the A's and stop the A's, which is completely ridiculous because their approach is late. Everything that Oakland has done has been and continues to be one word: late. Late establishing and never established a tax increment financing district. Late getting to the Athletics the sources and uses document that Dave Covell had asked now over about approximately 3 years ago. That's documented on this channel. Late, 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 late. So A's fans can go to other people and who have Twitter and YouTube channels, and flood them to hear a pap. But the truth is here. And the truth is not pretty. The truth is, first of all, the city of Oakland, by Oakland Mayor Libby Schaaf's admission, was late and did not, she didn't say they were late, but she did admit that the city didn't have the proper talent to do the kind of tax increment financing based redevelopment work we did in the past. I have that in her words here. Just go to my video, type Libby Schaaf, July 2021. That's here. Okay? That's here. I have more. And Oakland Athletics fans have not petitioned the city, sued the city, unlike Raiders fans threatened to do, or visited city council en masse and flooded the council with athletics constituents, which led everybody to a rightful question. How many A's fans still live in Oakland? It's a legitimate question. Because for those who did live in Oakland, they would show up at council. But there are a lot of questions that bring on that. So that didn't happen. The bottom line is it didn't happen. There was no constituency pressuring the city council directly and consistently and forcefully to keep the athletics in Oakland and make government respond. All right? There were a handful of people, including myself, pointing out the errors and showing the way and saying, hey, look, put us in charge. There were those of you saying, hey, White asked for that. Okay, that's water under the bridge. But I tell you again, if you had put me in charge, this wouldn't have happened. So point is, and every time I say that, I lose people. Fine. The truth hurts, but it has to be put out there. This is not about going over that road again, though. I will say this. This all sets up what I'm going to get to regarding markets. It's all intertwined. So if you love systems thinking, stick around. Now, let's get back to what the press put out there. All right, this was from the Athletics with respect to Sports Illustrated. And it was, as I presented to you here, okay? And so, excuse me, we have that, but let me go back here, stop that screen, and get the other screen that should be shared. One moment, please. Say not now. And call this up. Do the search again. And let's go back to what we have here. Right down there. All right, so we looked at the Sports Illustrated, and the idea again is, hey, look, you can spend money in Oakland, but you can't spend money in Las Vegas. Okay, so let's take a look at Sportskeeda, interesting name. Oakland Athletics President Dave Covell ending the Moneyball era with a move to Las Vegas will have money to play in the free agent marketplace. Well, that's true. All right, that's true. And they've got this photograph with the money and all this stuff, okay? Now, note they don't quote the $757 million that I point out. They don't want to do the math. They'd rather have Dave say something, all right? Okay? He says that President Dave Cobble told the Wall Street Journal he expects the A's to change the limited spending approach and be players in the free agent pool. Right. And he's quoted as saying the entire Moneyball system that Billy Beane devised was based on the fact that we had limited resources. Yep. Now moving Las Vegas and having higher revenue streams that we can invest in the player side, we can still use some of those techniques of valuing undervalued assets, but we'll have money to play in the free agent marketplace. And he goes on to, blab about that. And he said that he likes to trade away too many important pieces and basically recounting history. Okay, we get that. All right, fine. Okay. Athletics Nation 5 days says Oakland A's Dave Cobble breaks silence on relocation. And then 5 days ago, with reference to the fire, the Nevada Independent says that the ownership to fund one of the largest equity contributions ever for Las Vegas Stadium. This is by Howard Stutz. And there's Carolyn Aker to the extreme right, Dave Cobble, John Fisher, and the lobbyist Alfred Alfonso and John over in the gray there. And so this is May 31st of 2023. And this article reports that the franchise is working towards securing the more than $1 billion in private financing. And Cobble said the family of A's owner John Fisher would make one of the largest equity contributions ever by a major league owner toward the cost of building a new ballpark. The commitment through private funding streams will be second only to private money used for Yankee Stadium, which opened in 2009. And so this is, and he goes about the network, and he quotes the racist Neil DeMaus and all this crap. So I'm getting away from that because I have no respect for either of these contributors. So for reasons that have to do with how they are toward and whatever. The bottom line is there's not much on this in total because it then has yard bark. Well, A's philosophies change on spending. Dave Cobble, all right. And note, the first person to tell you how much money was going to be made here was the guy you're looking at. And it's a very simple equation, folks. Very simple equation, very simply arrived at. And it goes like this. I'm not even going to have to show you, but I should just tell you. If you ever see a calculation or an estimate that gives you first the tax rate and tax revenue, okay? Your keys to being able to calculate what the total revenue are right in your face. What you do is you take the tax rate, all right, and you divided by the tax revenue. All right, it's the tax rate divided by the tax revenue will give you the total revenue. All right, the total revenue. And that's how you come to that. They've already given you that information. They being the combination of Stephen Hill and Jeremy Arguello during their presentation and the PDF to the Nevada legislature. When you take those monies and combine them, and just, you don't even have to add the construction portion, okay? But this is what you get for the first year alone. $757 million. All right, $757 million. Now the question is, because a lot of people have said, okay, that's still based on visitation rates they don't understand and everything else. And here's where I get to the whole matter of the market. And here's where this is going to be a lot of fun. All right, a ton of fun. And so let me present to you, first of all, um, a page that is near and dear to my heart. And I will get it as here, M-A-R-K, market. There we go. This one is called, voila, all right. I'm going to enlarge it. Here, I'll zoom in and zoom in again. These are the 210 designated market areas, or DMAs, listed by the 2022-2023 Nielsen ratings. All right. Now, you can see we have number 1 is New York. Number 2 is Los Angeles. 3, Chicago. Philadelphia 4. Dallas Fort Worth 5. Atlanta 6. Houston 7. Washington, D.C. 8. Boston 9. San Francisco, Oakland, San Jose 10, which is interesting, it went down. Phoenix 11. Seattle 12. And basically, to make a long story short, you got to go all the way down to 40 to see Las Vegas. 40. 1, 2, 3, 4. 40. It is the 40th largest media market, but you knew that already. All right. But let me show you something else. That's media market. Media market has been with a term has been with us, as I said at the outset of this, for 2 generations, starting in 1966. That means that legions of people have been contaminated with the idea, the very 20th century idea, that a ballpark and a city team go where the population is, goes where, excuse me for a second, goes where the people are going to be most likely. That's the 20th century idea. How many people live there? Because that reflects the number of people that are going to be available theoretically to buy season tickets or just the casual ticket for a staycation. All right. That's the traditional idea. Now, here is a very 21st century development. And 21st century, okay, and has to do with a term that you and I both know as searched. Okay. According to Google, if I type most searched cities, this is what I get from sources across the web. Look at the ranking. Look at it. Okay. New York, Miami, Bangkok, London, Tokyo, Philadelphia, Las Vegas, Seattle, Houston. Okay. Most searched cities. Point is, Las Vegas is in an area that, absent the internet, would never be known, because there was no such thing as searching for something online for the better part, by far, of the 20th century. But this is the 21st century. Consider, Google search didn't start until 1998. It didn't start becoming a thing until 2002 to 2003. Google didn't buy YouTube until late 2007. So all of these developments are brand new. Brand new. to the point where, and as I explained to the athletics people in an email, because I was thinking about this, and what I mentioned to them in an email that I recently sent, as a part of a question I was asking. He would say, "Why was I presenting?" Asking was part of me trying to get Dave to come on this show to talk about this, very matter. All right, and and what I wrote was goes goes like this. It reads rather. Uh, it reads. In other words, the internet forces eyeballs on Las Vegas and thus promotes it, as you can see. So, if an event is in Las Vegas, it gets pushed to our attention without the involvement of television. You see? That in turn reduces the overall value of television compared to the 20th century world before the internet. All right. And then I go on. I said, take me, for example. I did not realize why I was being recognized in random places like Home Depot or the airport. But the reason is simple. My titles have location and product focused keywords. So if someone looks for something about these topics and location, right? My videos pop up, sometimes singularly without challenge. That approach has been my standard since I started vlogging in 2006. There's 18 years of YouTube videos and history and other organizations with me doing this, and with other organizations like iReport before CNN bought it and inherited me in the process in 2006, using that same approach. All right. The point is, I leapfrogged television. All right. So we need, and I wrote to them and I'm saying to you, a redefinition of what the term market means for real estate, sports, entertainment for the purpose of our exchange, right? Las Vegas allows a complete disruption of the common model because of its visitor size. Now let me explain that further because I didn't flesh that out entirely with my initial audience. And it goes like this. You have upwards of 40 million visitors annually to Las Vegas. 40 million, okay? Now, what is that visitors rate? What does that also represent? You know what it turns out to represent? This turns out to represent a built in internet audience always looking for something about Las Vegas. That's what it represents. So they go home, they're coming back to Las Vegas, they're still reading about it, they're still looking it up. This is unique. This is very unique to Las Vegas. It's not that other cities don't have it. New York has it. All right. Los Angeles has it to a lesser extent, but still has it. But LA is LA. LA has it. But also, this fact that LA has it and New York has it shows you why the NBA was quite literally building its reputation in LA at a very long period in time when the NFL was not there. The NFL lost a lot of time and money by not having a franchise in Los Angeles because the owners were of the idea that, well, it just wasn't worth as much until Steve Ballmer went in and bought the Clippers for $2 billion in 2012, and that work woke the entire league ownership up. You're talking about being woke? That's the NFL's version of being woke. Yeah, a franchise sale going down outside of its league in a league that it considers to be lesser, but then makes that league a player on the same level with it. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you the National Basketball Association. All right. So, all right. So, 40 million visitors. 40 million visitors. And so what we have is the ability for events and projects like MSG Sphere to light up and suddenly be the number one trend in search. And it has nothing to do with television. Nothing. Nothing. Television ends up catching up to it. Hey, this was online. We know you saw it. And they have to catch up to it, they feel, in order to stay relevant, i.e., generate viewership, because of what you are looking for. So, in all of this comes the Athletics' plan to move to Las Vegas. Now, would this dynamic have happened to the same degree in Oakland? And the answer is no, because Oakland does not have the visitor rate. Indeed, what the Athletics plan to do at Howard Terminal would have lifted Oakland's visitor rate. It would, in effect, would have boosted Oakland in terms of visibility. I'm not saying that Las Vegas won't be helped by the Athletics. They will. It's a Major League Baseball team. It's searched for highly. It adds to an already giant layer cake. It just makes it bigger. But because of its uniqueness, it adds a very important segment of searches it previously didn't enjoy before that focus on professional baseball, Major League Baseball. All right? So this is unique to Las Vegas. This gets to the mistake that I made in not seeing the value of what the Raiders were doing. But hey, look, I wasn't the only one, okay? I mean, let's face it, Mark Davis did it because Sheldon Adelson promised him $750 million. A lot of bucks. It wasn't, hey, you know what? If you move here, you'll enjoy our internet search advantage. That wasn't the reason, folks. All right? But it is there. Now the Raiders have contributed to the next generation of search power that Las Vegas enjoys. Sheldon Adelson was both right in the power of the internet, and also, well, I'm not going to say he was wrong because I didn't have a chance to talk to him about this dynamic. He may very well have thought about it too. But Mr. Adelson was concerned initially that his gambling and Las Vegas gambling advantage would be taken away by the fact that the internet can be played online. And something else is going on too. Now, you're a 1 hour drive from a casino anywhere in the United States. So Las Vegas was losing its competitive advantage in that area, but not as much as anyone, including him, realized. Why? Because of the search advantage that Las Vegas has. And the fact that Las Vegas is using sports, which provides its own search volume. To add to that is helping Las Vegas retain a high degree of its supremacy in the area of gaming. This is a topic that has not been fully discussed in public, let alone thought about much. The literature even reflects that. This is a brand new area of consideration, but it has to be considered and discussed, and decisions have to be made based on it because we're living it. Let me get to your comments before I get to Wolverine says, Zenny, you're the best. Tell it like it is. No BS. Question, why wouldn't NLB want an expansion team in Vegas? Wouldn't the owners make more money that way, plus both markets, please, more Vegas and Oakland? Wolverine says, a great question. Let me answer it. Yeah, but here's the problem. And again, I say this to you, Cole Bruno and everybody else. Your observation is blunted by the fact that Oakland doesn't do anything. So it becomes a fantasy to say, hey, we should be in both markets. What has the city done? You tell me. Negotiation stopped, and now, to advance its position, did it do a tax increment financing district? No. Did it say it was going to go ahead and finish Howard Terminal? No. Did it pivot and say, oh, hey, you know what? We're going to build the Coliseum? Well, if you take what AASEG is doing, that too is going at a snail's pace. And I'm telling you, in the AASEG, the city is going to run out the clock on you. All right. Because what's going on with AASEG has become so much a child of Oakland politics, and the same politics that cause sports teams to leave, that its very effort is damaged by it. Not going to be, it already is. Did you hear the announcement 2 days ago that the WNBA is visiting Denver to consider Denver for expansion? But did the WNBA commissioner visit Oakland? The answer is no. No. That is a gigantic slap in the face. Okay? Huge. All right? So again, all this fantasy about, well, Major League Baseball should have an expansion team and Vegas should be number one, and Oakland should stay here, is buttressed by the fact that the city government itself won't make anything happen. And this is what you all don't understand. This is why, and I actually started writing a book because Andy Dolich and Dave Newhouse are running around pumping their book, which doesn't focus on government at all. They had ample opportunity to talk to me. Andy has been on this show a bunch of times. Regular viewers know it. All right. But the bottom line is that, for reasons best known to them, they don't pay attention to governments because they never worked in government. By contrast, I literally grew up educationally in government with, basically, want to put it in, generic engineering terms, genetically engineered to be an urban planner, right? Or all that stuff. Okay. As ridiculous hyperbole as that sounds, that is true. Since I was 6, building cities in the dirt and all that stuff, trying to figure out how to pay for them. Okay. My dream jobs. So I decided to start writing my own book, and I've written out the table of contents and the segments, which now total 46 items, and I'm not done because then I'll fill in those blanks. And because I realized at first I thought, God, it's a daunting task. And then I thought I was going to write it as a memoir. I thought, you know what? This isn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. I had to do it. So anyway, thanks for that. But I hope that. But anyway, he says, why would T-Point says, why would Liberty Media put F1 in Vegas if it was such a small TV market? Why are they saying it's one of the biggest events of the year? The reason is Vegas is not a small market. It's huge. It really is. It's got 40 million constant visitors. Las Vegas, because of its unique gambling advantage, is an outlier in all this. So you can't apply the traditional means of evaluating an urban economy on Las Vegas, and yet it's done all the time, and it's done by journalists who are not trained in urban economics. They do not understand how to evaluate a city. And now we have this tradition of the sad modern tradition of these people who call themselves journalists looking for a quote rather than doing the math, or finding someone who will do the math. Or if they find somebody that does the math, it's some character, not a true professor who's done any research or work. They won't go to my friend Dan Rasher at the University of San Francisco. Dan will give them the straight scoop. They won't like it, though. They don't come to me. And Dan and I started sports business simulations around the game of the athletics used in the classroom. You would think that anyone who called themselves a journalist would be talking to us first. Nope. They're not journalists, folks. They're PR people. Even the TV show CSI did not bring as much awareness to Vegas as the internet has. Thanks. Again, you are 100% correct. All the media blames Fisher, okay. He's a skunk, but no one blames the government to get them off their blanks. As long as that happens, nothing's going to change. And unfortunately, that's true, because the politicians that are in Oakland right now are loving the fact that they don't have anybody attacking them except me. All right. And knowing that I wanted to run it. Oh, it's he wanted to run it. No, let's ignore Zenny. I have Gene Hazard come on my show tomorrow. He called me. Gene Hazard's they call him an Oakland Gaffline, all this stuff that the names that others in the media attach to people who they don't think should be part of the media, who they generally are black or minority, like Sajid was Indian. All right, they're not white. Uh, and Gene turned around. He asked for all of the resumes of people who applied for the job of Oakland City Administrator, including me. And I made noise about it. How did I find out about it? Because I typed economic development in LinkedIn one day and saw the city of Oakland's city administrator job came up, and it said that I was one of the top candidates. I thought, wow, I thought that was the algorithm, but then I thought, well, I'll apply. And then I thought, and I put it out here. I put in a video about it. Then I thought about it again because I thought about the horror of working for our current mayor, given how she's running things and what I've been told by a number of people, including longtime friends and associates, people who've been like, second parents to me, who work for the city of Oakland, who describe Shang, and I'm just being blunt with you with one word, crazy. So here I would go into an environment like that and fear getting backstabbed. And I got a confirmation that that very well would have happened just very recently. You understand? Because it's happened to me before. When I was transferred over from Elihu's office when he was mayor to economic development, there were a number of people who didn't like that I was there for one reason, because I was questioning them on the dais, as is my job representing the mayor. It was the only reason, folks. Okay? How dare this, in other words, translations, how dare this black guy question us? Seriously. When I realized what it was, I thought, are you kidding me? And this is in the middle of my working to try to bring the Super Bowl to Oakland, and I almost did it just 8 votes short. They were literally, it was like this scene in Airplane, where you had this fellow was sick, I think, in his seat, and all these people were going to help him, but a couple had bats and guns and all this. I thought, yeah, those are the folks, all right? The city of Oakland has to have a come to Jesus session about how it has allowed itself to change. It is not a pretty sight, folks. It really isn't. So Proath says, for baseball viewership, Bay Area media market number 10 is misleading. Most viewers are Giants fans. If the East Bay were its own media market, it would be approximately 35. Great point. But here's the thing. It's not, I don't like thinking of the Bay Area that way because, in point of fact, for me, I view the Bay Area as, I call it the inner Bay Area and the outer. If you're watching this and you're not familiar with what the San Francisco Bay Area looks like in terms of its layout, okay, I think a map is in order, all right, so that I can show you what I'm thinking about, all right, and what it looks like. Help along. I think this is good. And I'll press this right here. Now stop screen. Present. Share screen. And Google Maps here. This, okay. So that's San Francisco, right? And all right. So let's do this. Let's go over to that and let's see if we can. Yeah, there we go. That's better. All right. I call this that I'm circling here. I call this the inner Bay Area right here. With San Francisco and Oakland really as being one city, because it's very common, say, to meet up with your friends here in Oakland, right? Not you won't meet there necessarily, but maybe they're downtown and then say, hey, let's go over to The Marina District over here in San Francisco um, doesn't have anything that's lighting up for me, but near the Presidio, like to the Balboa Cafe or something like that, or have dinner in Chinatown and go over to a tavern like Kells or something like that. Right? That's very or go over to Fisherman's Wharf, go over to Pier 39 or Isabella or Joe Scoma. All right, that's very common. Go back and forth. All right. Point is that you have friends that are over here in Oakland. Although it is noted that a number of people in San Francisco I've known never crossed the bridge to go over to Oakland out of for one word, fear. Okay. And it wasn't until Rockridge became very hip and successful after the Oakland Hills fire and the opening of the BART train connecting in the BART station that people who lived over here would visit friends who had new houses built over here after the fire. All right. But then there became this, and I'm just going to say it bluntly because that's the way it is, white media aided habit of referring to Rockridge as if it were separate from Oakland. In fact, there was actually a little nascent effort to make a whole new city called Tuscany next to Piedmont within Oakland that would have been Rockridge. I'm circling it right here. Let me show you here. And that was spearheaded right here. And that was spearheaded by a guy named Bob Klein, who started Rockridge Market Hall and the restaurant Oliveto, which became world famous. But why did he do it? He was so upset with the city's response after the fire until Elihu Harris became the mayor, just as Elihu was becoming the mayor, but Elihu straightened it out because Elihu straightened out the problem, the Oakland Hills fire problem. Got satellite services and everything put in, and he turned a nightmare into uh, a place of government heaven for a lot of people who needed help, who weren't used to working with the government because hey, they didn't need to. They were living their lives, making good money, everything else. Suddenly, their lives were turned upside down. And I'm not saying like I didn't know those folks. A lot of those folks are people that I grew up with. Don't want to drop her name, but helped her and her dad and her family move away from their home out on Proctor. We were driving downhill. She and I had happened to have brunch that Sunday morning. It was a Sunday, and we saw this billowing fire come up, right? So, point is that for a long, long time, Oakland was not well thought of by its West Bay neighbor, by San Francisco, and the media to this day plays into that big time. The San Francisco-based media, which is allergic to having black investors or black editor managers. By contrast, Oakland is known for having one of the first African American editors and owners or of a newspaper, and that's the late Bob Maynard of the Oakland Tribune. All right, so as you can see, I view this as literally one city. Even though I don't want Oakland to be on top, I want Oakland to beat San Francisco all the time. But there are forces trying to make Oakland East San Francisco. See, all right. It says, please move to Vegas and run for mayor. You deserve the reward for your knowledge and financial awareness. Hey, a great investor would solve that problem right there. Thank you. Great investors, plural. Um, Other factor, regional sports networks getting to be unprofitable. Wow, excellent point. Prath goes on to say streaming becomes more important. Diamondbacks and Padres already ditched their regional sports networks. Great. Hey, you know what? I'm going to write about this. You're right. Absolutely right. Hey, gold standard. I have to start giving out awards for the comment of the night. I got to partner with some organization to do that. Yeah, like a cell phone or something that is so meaningful. People come to want to win the award. Um, that's absolutely true. That's absolutely true. But again, and again, it buttresses the point that the internet has altered what the definition of a sports market, all right, a sports market is. Okay, you can't go by the 20th century meaning. So those of you out there who call yourselves journalists, be a real journalist and adjust. I'm serious because I've been around long enough to remember when journalists would actually call me, knowing my background, knowing I worked for the mayor, even if I had a blog, and they would ask questions. And I have to credit Oakland side for doing that. Oakland side actually did that for the first time, as critical as I've been of the organization. 2 weeks ago, around a video that I made that was critical, and not going to be my last one, of the Coliseum Joint Powers Authority's, or Henry Gardner as executive director, more pointedly, desire to sweep immigrant hot dog makers away. But a white guy that works in the stadium called Hal the Hot Dog Guy is A-OK, but we can't have any immigrant hot dog people, outside trying to sell their hot dogs. Isn't that an ugly and awful, awful image? But Henry just blurted it out without even thinking, as if there's something wrong with them because they can't afford, they're not part of Airmark or any other organization, and they're outside and they're quite literally making these, and no one's complained about them being unsafe. I love their hot dogs. I have never had a problem with their hot dogs at all. Okay, ever. And I'm certain there are people who've gotten sick off food in the Coliseum on a number of occasions. All right, that's a fact. So all Henry has to do is say, hey, look, we're going to help you all. We're going to drive traffic to you. We're going to make it safe for you to be there because it doesn't cost them a lot of money to do so. And we're going to give you signs that are, hey, risk management signs. These hot dogs have been rated great, but purchase at your own risk. Be warned, because then it protects the JPA. That's what Henry should do. That is economic development 101. All right. So, President, I've done a lot of research on this and can provide a link if you like. Yes, please do. You have my email? If you don't have my email, here is email for me. .net. That's the email that you can use. It's zenny@zenny62media.net. There. Thank you. Artie Boss says the international tourism in Las Vegas will increase the fan base of Major League Baseball worldwide. The entire league wins with new exposure. Absolutely. Absolutely. And to those people, who are talking about Oakland, the time has to start that. And I'm going to ask you this question. Why can't you flip it around? In other words, why not say, hey, shouldn't Oakland be in first in line for an expansion team? Because I'm going to say this again. Oakland is chronically late. So here you all are, not dealing with the reality that the A's are gone, trying to shift around in your mind, which has nothing to do with reality, because the A's are constantly working toward their objective. And yet there are other people working toward their objective of making sure that their city is number one for Major League Baseball expansion. Okay? And that's that fact is what should scare you. That it's going to be so much of this effort, if you really care about Oakland, all right? And I will write this right now, 2023 MLB expansion. Like here. And let's see here. last time that he dealt with this, Bob Manfred, was very recently. He said he outlined details on it, or is said to have done this. I haven't had the pleasure of having him on the show yet. But he told the Baseball Writers Association of America during the All-Star game that since the A's are nearing relocation to Las Vegas and that meaningful discussions are being had within Tampa Bay regarding a new ballpark for the Rays, the question then turned to league expansion. And then Manfred remarked, I hope shortly thereafter, we will put together an expansion committee and start talking internally first about the issues associated with expansion. Obviously, there are economic issues. You're talking about diminishing the central revenue available to each of the 30 clubs, making it 32. Manfred said that there will be a need for an examination of the impact of the additional clubs. That could take many forms, including whether the new club will be revenue sharing payors or payees, as well as expansion fees, which can potentially be $2 billion for each of the two new clubs added to the league. That's huge. He writes, we would discuss what we would be looking for in terms of expansion and the offset that I do think it fits in. Manfred also alluded to what the move to 32 teams would entail in terms of possible division realignment. And he says, within my vision of expansion, you need to think about what you're trying to accomplish for the sport from a competitive perspective and deal with those issues before you get into one market. And what do I mean by that? If you're going to vote to approve 32 clubs, you're going to make more divisional changes. So there's some internal work that's going to take some time to get done. And then I think ultimately you go to the markets. Now, by the time they get to that, I believe that the bond issue will be let for the A's ballpark, and the whole talk about the Bay Area as the home of the A's will be officially done, over, done with. We need to revision Oakland in a positive way. Oakland's government minders have allowed a doom spiral, if you will, of discussion to infect Oakland's very psyche. How do you counter that? You counter that by presenting a giant vision for a possible positive future. You don't do that by trying to wish for things that are not going to happen because you were too late in making sure they didn't happen. The city didn't have a come to Jesus moment regarding the Raiders. Eric Grubman of the NFL called it when he said to me, Zinni, Oakland consistently reacts. That's whenever Grubman was the league's point person for stadium development. Oakland consistently reacts. It's reactive. It doesn't get it. This is yet one more example of the rightness of Eric Grubman's statement. One more. All right. So, I mean, look, we all only have so much time to get things done, time on earth. We can't wait for Oakland to get it together. And yet, that's what Oakland has done. It has wanted everyone to wait for it. When I was working on the Super Bowl, Clint Boland, who was our deputy economic development director, got mad that I was going off from his perspective and taking actions with respect to the league without his approval. But he didn't know what to do. And I told him, I said, Clint, you don't know what to do. They're waiting on us. They've given us the instruction. And Robert Bob has let me go. And Robert put me officially in charge, and he really got pissed off. That's not the way. If you're running something, you have people, your agents that know what to do, you should not let your ego get so much in the way that you can't let the people who know what to do it. This is a problem today. This is a big problem in Oakland. All right? think about what you've seen. You've seen Mayor Schaaf, and before her, Mayor Kwan, who really started the dynamic. Well, really, Jerry Brown started the dynamic, but it just got worse. Politicians taking the place of economic development officials who know, and city administrators and city managers who know what to do, and in turn have project managers who know what to do. The old style of politics used to be, I will get these folks out here. These are my people. They will speak for me. I will stand behind them. I will not stand before them and recite data. That's their job. It's their job to make me as elected official look good. That was the way. And it's a logical way. Because guess what? If that person doesn't make the politician look good, then get what happens. They get fired. But you see, Libby put herself in a position where there was only one person to fire. Okay? And she was termed out. So now you have Shane behaving the same way rather than any change. She made herself the face of it, which contributes to the gigantic wave of negative energy surrounding her. I mean, it is huge, folks. And I'm not saying that with glee. I like Shang personally, but that doesn't mean I have to like how she's running Oakland. And if you care and love about Oakland, you don't like it either. Period. Because if we don't straighten this stuff out, we're going to have more and more problems, and they're going to continue to snowball. That's what's happening. So there's my presentation, folks. The upshot of which is this. The internet has its own measure of top destinations and top places to go. And if there's anything I want you and everybody else to not forget, okay, it goes back to what I showed you regarding markets in Las Vegas. And you saw the largest TV market traditionally in Las Vegas was what, 40th ranked, right? But when it gets to a very powerful most searched cities, okay? Most searched cities here. And then we find again that Las Vegas is among them. Specifically, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, ninth. Excuse me, seventh. Followed by Seattle and then Houston. From sources across the web. All right. And by any measure, okay, you could alter that and go back and take a look at. They say searched, okay, and we have the most. These are the most popular. Well, it's a difference when you look at it and you look at most popular destinations is different. That won't get it. That's a weird one. Okay. But most searched city on Google overall is actually London. London. So it's a place where Las Vegas is constantly ranked. In fact, I wonder, try something here. Most search city. Most search cities time series. I'm trying to find most time series, most search cities. The travel pulse number one says this has the most popular city destination showing the top 100 most searched cities in the world for summer travel. Let's take a look at that, even though I just want to see where that falls. This is for summer travel. And I'll read it off to you. Bangkok, Thailand is number one. Let me show you this if I can. Make sure this comes up because this is really worth seeing. I'll stop the screen here, present, and I'll go down here. There, okay. There's the page. All right, travel pulse. Bangkok is number one, Paris number two, London number three. And this is this year. Okay, again, what is this? This is as of July of this year, most popular city destinations, top 100 most searched cities in the world for summer travel. Bangkok is number one, Paris number two, London number three, Bali number four, Barcelona number five, New York number six, Lisbon number seven, Istanbul. Now think about this. Let's stop here. The first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cities are not American. Then we get to New York. Then we get to Lisbon, then Istanbul, then Madrid, and then Athens. So out of the top 10, there's only one city, and that's New York. All right. Now, it did say top 100. Okay. So let's go to what Four Keys, which research this data shows. Okay. Now have the full report. So download the full report and don't miss out the travel trends. I did download it. Hold on a second. Which means it should be in my email box. And thank you, Mr. Fields. I got your information. Four Keys says my copy is ready. And a following link. Okay. Now, Four Keys was kind enough to email me that information, which I present to you right now. So I'll stop the screen, share the screen, go here, and present it here and allow. There. And these are the most popular city destinations in summer 2023, charting the course of travel in the post-COVID-19 era. Now, we know what the top 10 was, right? Get past the forward and all this. This is my first time looking at this. Asian Pacific destinations capture the attention of summer travelers. Here's the list right here, over here. Bangkok is number one, Paris number two, London number three, Bali, Dispar Bali is number four, Barcelona five, New York six is reported, Lisbon seven, Istanbul eight, Madrid nine, Athens 10, Mallorca, Spain is 11, Singapore 12, Tokyo, it doesn't say where in Singapore. Tokyo is 13, Kuala Lumpur is 14. These are whole countries. This is interesting. It's not saying cities. Amsterdam, Copenhagen, Los Angeles, only the second American city to show up here. Rome, which is a whole, Rome, Italy, Manila, Frankfurt, Dubai, Magala, Milan, Cancun, Dublin, Antioch, Berlin, Vienna, Miami. Hey, Miami, it's 29th down. So we have New York, Los Angeles, and now Miami, 29th down, next to San Francisco, interestingly. All right. And so it stops there. But it doesn't give, where's the entire list here? Where is the entire list? And that's good for San Francisco. That's popping up someplace, isn't it? Total tourist demand broadens beyond sun and beach destinations. Family travel is back. Hold on a second. And then it says Canada leads. One moment here. And it doesn't have a full list here. So I'm looking for the entire list, right? The Caribbean destinations, this is very hard to discern. And then it's methodology. And here's the data appendix. This is the full list, I believe, right? It only goes down that far. It goes to 25. It's supposed to go to 100. Oh, here it goes here. Sorry, folks. San Francisco's here at 30. Remember, it was at 29. Here is at 30. That's weird. Miami was just ahead. Miami is 29. San Francisco's 30. I'm sorry. It's not weird. I am. And then we come down and we have Porto, Sydney, Cairo, Hercules, Seoul, Alicante, Ibiza, Munich, Hong Kong at 39. Tirana at 40, Budapest at 41, Brussels at 42, Faro 43, Zurich 44, Naples 45, 46 Split, Maya, Kenya, Prague at 49, Vancouver 50, Tel Aviv 51, Ho Chi Minh 52, Oslo 53, Delhi, Warsaw 56. It's very weird. You don't see... I'm going to be going down because I don't see Las Vegas at all, which is weird, which indicates to me there's something wrong with this list. Yeah, they don't have lots. Yeah, they have Las Vegas way down at 105. And guess what? It is the next U.S. city to be listed here. San Jose is ahead of it at 82. So this is a weird list for some. Now this is for summer travel, but even then, because it has, among other things, it has 5 American cities. 5. San Francisco is one of them, and Las Vegas. So I can still say that because then you would say, okay, well, Zinni, why don't you just narrow it to American destinations and see what you find? I would say, that's a good idea. To which I would say, all right, let's see, most searched American cities. Because it's interesting that with Google, we had Las Vegas number, 7, right? And I said most searched. Now I have to lock in most searched because what I get is, if I don't do that, I get most visited. Big difference. I'm talking about search volume. I'm talking about the internet. All right. So travel off path, something again I've never heard of, has its own survey of most searched cities. All right. And I will put this up for you to see. Make sure I've got this travel on path. Excuse me. That's not it. Most search. Yeah, here it is. All right. So there's that. And I will show that here. This is called traveloffpath.com. Number 1 is New York. Number 2, Las Vegas. Boom. So there you are, folks. You don't have to go any further. Las Vegas is the number 2 most popular searched city in America behind New York. All right. And I didn't have to go far to find that. What happened was I went to the most searched American cities. I locked in most searched here. And this is the first result that I got. Traveloffpath.com. Why these 5 U.S. cities are the most popular? Las Vegas was number 2. Number 2, okay? Number 2, all right? Why these 5 U.S. cities are the most popular destinations? All of this relates to streaming. All right? So why New York number 1? It reads as follows. Coming in number 1, one of the top trending summer travel destinations in the United States is none other than New York City itself. Tourism in New York is always huge, but this year, it seems the Big Apple's popularity is even higher than normal. When you're done seeing famous cities such as the Statue of Liberty, Times Square, and Central Park. Don't miss checking out some tours that are a bit more off the beaten path. And it says, so what's new this year? Good point. Well, a lot actually. Summer 23 is bringing new art exhibitions and shows to New York. Events, remember. And numerous new museums have opened in the past few months. One notable thing to experience this summer is the 50th anniversary of hip hop, which the city will celebrate with numerous events in August. 2023 also marks the 100th anniversary of the Museum of the City of New York. So there are many events to experience here as well. And so, yeah, there you go. All right, there you go. New York is number one. And the other question is, hold on a second, I'm going to make and quick adjustment here, folks, which we do not feel or see. I don't believe. You're not going to. Okay. Let me get this out of the way. A second. Let's say town business thing, right? Literally. Done. Save. Voila. Okay. All right, so that's on. So, then what does it say about Las Vegas? Las Vegas is one of those places that you hear about and think it might not be for you until you go and realize it's actually for everybody. Nowadays, it doesn't matter if you don't gamble, party until late hours, or shop at high-end stores. You will likely still enjoy a visit to Las Vegas. There is enough to experience in Las Vegas outside of the party lifestyle, such as a world-class dining scene, which is really true, art and cultural exhibits, and of course, tours to explore the stunning desert landscape that stretches as far as you can see in every direction off the Strip. With numerous new dining options opening this year and the revamp of many of the favorite hotels, 2023 is shaping up to be a big year for Vegas. The city will host Beyonce's tour in August, and a long-awaited MSG Sphere is set to open doors later this year. Formula One racing will light up the Strip in November, which is a while off from now, but still worth a mention, and no doubt helps to entice visitors. And there is Las Vegas in all of its, Bellagio fountains, lagoon splendor, and Paris, Las Vegas, and Bally's, where we love to stay at, which is now the Horseshoe and all that. And then there's Los Angeles, number 3. Of course, Los Angeles is high on the list of trending U.S. cities to visit this year, as the list of things to do is never ending. Come for the Hollywood sign, the Santa Monica Pier, and perhaps to try and spot some celebs out and about. So another commodity of the internet that California is going to lose if it doesn't get the living costs down. But when you're done with the normal tourist things, why not enjoy some more unique ways to pass the time? And then it discusses the Millennium Biltmore, the LA Memorial Coliseum, Warner Brothers, famous restaurants, Cello, and so on. A beautiful shot of what I believe is Hollywood Boulevard there. Yeah, not far down from the Old Cortez. And then Seattle's number 4, which surprising to me, but one of the most searched for destinations this summer. And has Overlook Walk and Pikes Peak and Space Needle, and then concerts like George Strait, Janis Jackson, Taylor Swift. But think about it, entertainment drives this. If you have a venue for entertainment, you get high on the internet list as a city, you get searched, you get visited. All right, there's something called the Capitol Hill Block Party. There's another pretty picture. Then number 5 is San Francisco. 5 is San Francisco. Okay? All right. Now, this is separate from Oakland. Oakland does not benefit from this directly because this is not Oakland. This buttresses the point about how much Oakland would have been benefit of maintaining the athletics in a timely fashion because it's the Oakland Athletics. But the city did recognize the urgency of the Athletics' financial needs to act accordingly. San Francisco is number 5. But then it points out, listen, this is what it reads. San Francisco has long been a world-famous destination with more postcard-worthy sites than most other U.S. cities. Many come for the Golden Gate Bridge, Lombard Street, it's the quickest street in the world, the Painted Lady houses, the Pink Lady, the sea lions at Pier 39 and Alcatraz Island. While the city has been a longtime favorite, the shutdowns of downtown offices during the pandemic and other factors such as homelessness and safety issues have hurt San Francisco's image a bit. The good news is that the city seems to be working its way back as one of the most popular cities to visit in the U.S. So why visit San Francisco this summer? Well, the numerous festivals should be reason enough. June brings in San Francisco Doc Fest and SF Pride, one of the largest in the world. And July has the Fillmore Jazz Festival. Yep. Bastille Day and July 4th pub crawl. Now, a number of you might be pointing out, hey, maybe this was like goosed by the Relative Convention and Visitors Bureaus. And I would say, yeah, but you have to have something to goose, right? Well, that's the top 5. Okay. The point I'm making is, well, I think I just made the point. And so Artie said that he did a lot of research. I've got his link, and I'm going to present this right now. He said link sent by email. Someone says the real cost of the A's will be $2.2 billion plus with the land value added. They will build the Taj Mahal of stadiums to showcase Major League Baseball. That's why MLB wants this. Very true. Let me see your email here, Mr. And it's a leak to study on media and broadcast options presented by Athletics in Vegas. Oh, thanks, John. Let me show you his Oakland Athletics in Vegas page here, folks. One moment while excuse me, to use a Blazing Saddles line. Excuse me while I whip this out. Anyway, oh, what a mean double entendre. Anyway, okay, where is Mr. Fields? Here we are. That's it. His forum is called athleticsinvegas.com, Oakland Athletics in Las Vegas. Subject: who broadcast the A's game, and more generally the broadcast situation in Major League Baseball, and then looking at DMA market to justify the move to Las Vegas. And let's see here. I think, okay, let me go back to here. I think, John, is where you want me to check out. Why moving the A's from Oakland, Las Vegas makes sense based on DMA ranking, despite the argument that Las Vegas is too small. And then this LV fan goes on to write, one, only in the mega media market. Let me enlarge this. And again, only the mega media markets of New York, Los Angeles, and Chicago DMA merit 2 MLB teams. The Bay Area does not come close to qualifying. I disagree there. So perhaps moving the A's is Major League Baseball's way of recognizing economic realities today, as well as diversifying geographically. In fact, after the big 3, the following markets are ranked ahead of San Francisco, Oakland, San Jose, Philadelphia, and that's number 4, Dallas, Dallas-Fort Worth, 5, Atlanta, 6, Houston, 7, Washington, Hagerstown, 8, Boston, Manchester, 9. It says 2, comparing the Bay Area DMA number 10 to Las Vegas DMA 40 is not a valid for A's viewership. And here, let's get to our point. The Bay Area DMA region consists of a majority of Giants fans. To more accurately compare DMA ranking, most A's fans within the DMA are in Alameda and Contra Costa counties. If they were in their own DMA market, their ranking would be 35. That was not even an account for recent population declines in both counties. Therefore, The TV markets for A's viewership of Las Vegas and Oakland and vicinity are pretty close in size. 3. Cities close to Las Vegas DMA rank support MLB teams, specifically Kansas City with the Royals, Cincinnati with the Reds, and Milwaukee with the Brewers. Although these cities are slightly ahead of Las Vegas and DMA rank, in the bigger picture, not related to DMA rank, Las Vegas has significantly more tourist traffic to offset any differences. And 4, although not related to DMA, the proximity of Southern California opens up a huge nearby broadcast market. Las Vegas remains an extremely popular location for Southern Californians, even in the summer. With the high-speed rail train, this is what I was thinking, tourism will increase. While the A's will never encroach onto Dodger, Angel, or Padres fan bases, just getting a small percentage of viewers in this huge market will be substantial. With the tourism from Southern Californians, very likely interest in the A's will increase, even if the Southern California team gets their primary support. Also, many Southern Californians are from other areas and will watch when the A's play their favorite teams. So there you go. And so that's that thinking there. Let me go back to, let's see who. They're talking about, this is the regional sports thing that John was yelling about. Because I didn't look at the comments. I think hasn't commented. But at any rate, he writes, this is LV Fan. Currently broadcast by NBC Sports Bay Area, which actually makes Brody Brazil's YouTube channel. Keep that in mind. Assumption is they and the A's will part ways upon the A's relocation. Wow. The possible options are 1, Bally's Sports Regional Networks, 2, Spectrum Sportsnet, MLB.TV, either streaming or cable or satellite provider, and 4, local broadcasters. And then 1, the Bally's Sports Regional Networks is separate from Bally's Corporation, which holds the naming rights to the networks. Currently, the nearby networks include Bally Sports Arizona, Bally Sports San Diego, Bally Sports SoCal, and Bally Sports West. Those networks are owned by the Diamond Sports Group, a joint venture owned in part by the Sinclair Broadcast Group. Sinclair is already in the Las Vegas market as the owner of KSNV Channel 3. Diamond Sports Group has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. The result could be a separation from Sinclair. Additionally, the relations between MLB and Diamond are poor, and MLB has already removed the Padres broadcasts from Bally Sports San Diego and the Diamondbacks from Bally Sports Arizona, which now comes from MLB TV, streaming directly and available via cable and satellite providers. 2, Spectrum Sportsnet includes Sportsnet LA, the Dodgers regional sports network. They already serve customers in Southern Nevada and could be expanded to include the A's, possibly on a sister network. 3, MLB.TV, either by streaming or a cable or satellite provider. This could be the future model for other teams, greatly changing how baseball is delivered to viewers. The issue with the Padres and the Diamondbacks suggests this current regional sports business model may have become untenable. 4, local broadcasters, possibly in conjunction with the other options. For example, the Vegas Golden Knights, VGK, are teaming up with Scripps Sports, the parent company of Las Vegas channels 13 and 34. Scripps will televise all non-nationally exclusive VGK games on cable, satellite, and over-the-air television. The games will air on KMCC channel 34, which will be rebranded as an independent station before the 2023-2024 NHL season begins. The plan will provide the games free to residents of Nevada and surrounding states within the team's broadcast territory. Scripps will have rights for full distribution on cable, satellite, and over-the-air television. It is not clear if MLB would approve such an arrangement, especially if it infringed on any of MLB's rights. Whatever the options turn out to be, there is the opportunity to broadcast into the huge Southern California market Las Vegas remains an extremely popular sports location for Southern Californians, while the A's will never encroach on the Dodger or Angel, even Padres fans. Just getting a small percentage of viewers in this huge market will be substantial. And so there's a lot more here, lot to read, folks, to consider. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'm giving you a good taste of it. Thank you very much for that, John. And I may even see if I can reach out to John to become an author on one of our platforms and convert that into an article, or allow me to do it. You listening, John? So anyway, that rounds out the fact that the message here. The message here is that this is the 21st century. In the internet age, your city can become very popular and still be recognized as a small TV market. Las Vegas is recognized as a small TV market, but it is not recognized as a small internet search market. And therein lay the reason why the Athletics realize a positive net benefit of being in Las Vegas because of that dynamic, because they're attracting visitors in that way. And you would say, what's the advantage to be in Oakland? Well, that's tradition, of course, and location. If the Athletics had maintained the original Bjark Ingles design, that jewel box that was so unusual, that would have made Howard Terminal look like a Christmas tree at night, if that was maintained. If the city had acted in a timely fashion. If the city, let's go years back. If Jerry Brown had approved the downtown ballpark in 2002, we wouldn't be talking about this. In fact, that Jerry Brown had done a lot of things with respect to sports, like give me money, the money that was set aside for my sports commission of $80,000, instead of ordering that I be fired because he didn't like that I said that he wasn't comfortable with African Americans who speak aggressively and intelligently. In other words, having a confidence that rivals our white friends in the room. Okay, there are even black folks who don't like that, and they will say to you, "Oh, you talk like you're white." That is one of the most destructive processes that is active if one wants to explain why black incomes are persistently below that of white, or even in measure Asian, or why you have someone who's gay and black who is, by statistics, said to stand to make more money than their straight black male counterpart. What does that indicate but a fear of straight black men? So we live in a country that insists on wrecking its ability to achieve the lofty possibilities of its true best and brightest by denying them their rightful place as in various places, areas of American society, simply because they're black. That's the biggest problem today. All right? We're not getting the best and the brightest, and you can extend that to anybody, any look, any color. And for those of you who I believe need to hear this, this is something else. There was a fellow that came in here who works out at a gym that I belong to. Good guy. But he said to me there was something that was shocking. He said to us, myself and my mother. He said that as I asked him what his ethnic background was, he, as a white person, he didn't know. That person marks the first time I've encountered anyone who was white who didn't know their ethnic background. He said, I only know being white. And I said, what is that? every person I've grown up with was Scottish. You get the idea? So knowing your value is very important. And I'll leave with Pro Athlete writes, MLB says the new arrangement will expand the availability of Diamondbacks games in the team's home market, roughly 930,000 homes to 56 million, 5.6 million. That's quite a bit. Hey, thanks everybody for watching. And yeah, remember your value in all this, okay? Don't forget it. But also remember the main issue is about the market of the A's being completely different now today in an internet world. All right, subscribe to Zenny62 if you haven't done so already, and please bookmark oaklandnewsnowblog.com and our newest blog. I have to show you this, folks. I'm really proud of it. This is Zenny. Yeah, this is Zenny Report. Remember, like Judge Report, but ZennyReport.com and ZennyReport.com. It looks like this. I will port it over so you can have a look at it real quick here. It is, 1 second, there we go. And Zenny Report news website, ZennyReport.com. Okay, home. It's got the ads. It's designed for long form articles and blogging. There's news about the NFL schedule. There's my friend Berkeley Vice Mayor Ben Bartlett. I don't see it's Canada's industry holiday. There's Federal Trade Commission refunding consumers who invested in Andros Pookie scheme. Were you one of those? Got some money coming to you. Social Security Administration expedites decisions for people with severe disabilities, and so on. Let's check it out. The Zenny Report. There's Oakland's court fight versus Phil Tagami over coal costs the city $15 million in legal staffing. And there's more here. Very proud of this. It's a fast, super fast site, and I'm designing to be even faster. And I'm going to add some more technological innovations as we go along. All right, folks. ZennyReport.com. Remember that right here. Zenny, and click on the ads. It helps us make money. Also, before I close out, we are a Delaware C Corp in great standing. And we're seeking investors. So, hey, inquire within, as they say. That ends this broadcast. Thank you.